Welcome to Riot Motorsports Sim Racing League. We are located at the Utah Motorsport campus, offering a full range of services for race car enthusiasts, including storage, maintenance, and driver coaching. Our focus is on fostering an inclusive and supportive racing community. Sim racing is a great way for our drivers to continue to practice during the on and off season. Thank you for tuning in. Enjoy the race.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to race 1 of season number 8 of the Riot Motorsport Sim Racing League. The first race of the season is at Willow Springs Raceway. It's one of the oldest racetracks in the United States, and it is an absolute racer's dream. It is a fast race course, and the original layout from 1953 has never been changed. You guys are about to get treated to some unbelievable racing here in race 1 with the most number of drivers that Riot Motorsport Sim Racing League has ever had in a single race. There are 31 participants in this race. The pace lap is happening right now for the qualifying race. The setup for the race is an hour practice session that serves as qualifying for this 15-minute race or 12-minute race. Now, this race will dictate the starting order of the main race, which is a 45-minute race. However, that starting order gets flipped on its head. It's a reverse grid for the main event, which with a field this big is going to be absolute mayhem, which is wildly exciting. Cannot wait to see what happens here at Willow Springs Raceway. This is such an awesome race series. If you've never watched these races before, it is an absolute, it's just awesome. It's high-level racing. They're all GT3 cars, which the stable of GT3 cars has expanded in iRacing over the past couple seasons. And now there are I don't even know how many, 3, 6, 9, 10 different GT3 cars that are available, and they're all represented in the race here today. So you're going to see BMW M4s, you're going to see Audi R8s, Ferrari 296s, there's Mercedes, McLaren, Porsche, Ford, Corvette, and Lamborghini, and they're all going to be tossed into a bag and mixed up, and they're all going to have to fight their way to the front of the grid as far as they can get. So this is going to be an awesome, awesome race. I'm very excited for the drama that will inevitably happen with this many cars around a racetrack like this. Temperatures currently 71 degrees. The track temperature is sitting at 86 degrees. Now, this track surface does chew tires tremendously. So in this sprint, it's not going to be that big of a factor. But in the main event, tire degradation is going to play a role in this race. So we are going to go green here in just one more corner left to go. You see the cars all starting to stack up. And this track has a nice long straightaway to a 90-degree left-hand corner called Castrol Corner. And the pace car is going to pull off. You can see the lights are off on the pace car. He's going to pull into pit lane. And then the pole sitter, Shane Wilcox, in the AO Racing livery car, is going to control the pace. Pace car is pulling off right now, and Shane is off and going. Gets an amazing jump on P2. Bryson Liu, and he's not even going to have to defend going into corner 1, which is amazing. Bryson Liu, however, is going side by side with John Wilson. John Wilson is going to get the better of Bryson. Bryson's going to drop Willie outside, but he's going to have the inside line going into corner 2, the rabbit ear, the big carousel. And this is a corner that is very, very exciting. It's reminiscent of Road America's carousel because, there are multiple lines through. It's not the easiest place to pass, but there are a lot of ways to gain speed through that corner. And Bryson and John are having a great battle early on. This is very contentious. You can see all the way back in the field in the background, there are battles everywhere. But I haven't seen any incidents yet, which speaks to the level of competency that all these drivers have. Some drivers are faster than others. Shane Wilcox, incredibly fast. There we have our first driver off track. That is Austin Kent in the Riot livery to Porsche 992. See what happens here. Looks like he might have had to just check up a little bit. Yep. So he had to check up a little bit for the Ford in front of him. Got a little bit of oversteer and ended up getting collected by another driver. Another driver off track right now. Is that Andrew Malin? Yep, that's Andrew Malin. What happened there? Andrew Malin going up through Omega. Tried to go side by side with that beautiful looking McLaren. A little bit of contact. He spun out. Doesn't look like there's too much damage right now as the entire field passes him by. And actually, damage is turned off for these. Oh! Jeez, what was Andrew doing there? I don't think Andrew saw that ditch, which is a great time to mention that the damage is turned off on these cars. So they can stack them into each other as hard as they want, and the cars will still operate as if they are in pristine condition. So how do we officiate the races? Well, you get penalty points for contact. You get penalty points for going off track. Holy cow. That was Alex Faust sending it up the inside very, very aggressively on a slower car. We're back up front with Bryson Liu, John Wilson, and Shane Wilcox battling out for the top 3 positions. This is a great race right here. Further back, we have Michael Shumway, Lincoln Larson, Bruno Carniero, which I love seeing that guy in the field. He's a great guy. Incredibly fast driver, both in the sim and in real life. We're looking rearwards from Michael Shumway's car right now at Lincoln Larson. Lincoln Larson is a young driver who is developing under the tutelage of Scuderia Littell, making his way into cars just this past year from karts. He's very fast, and one of his coaches actually is the driver behind him, Bruno Carniero. Bruno has been a professional racer at the highest level for a number of years. He's an incredibly talented sim racer as well. He's raced in the Mazda MX-5 Cup. He is wicked fast in everything, and he is giving Lincoln Larson a lot of reasons to check his rearview mirrors right now. This is a really good battle, that kind of second pack. Oh, no, Bruno goes wide. Bruno goes wide. Of course, he's going to keep it pinned. Who's behind Bruno? That was Jack Liston. Oh, this is a really quick group right here. These drivers are always competitive in every season of the Riot Motorsports Sim Racing League. Any of these drivers can win the race. Oh, wow. A little bit of a defensive move from Bruno Carniero. Bruno and Jack are 2 of the quicker drivers that you're going to see in this field. But you notice that next to Bruno's name, it says R1, and next to Jack, it says R3. So even though all of the cars are GT3 cars, this is a multi-class race. There's R1, R2, and R3, and the classes are differentiated not by the cars, but by prior results, participation in the series, and, of course, your current performance. So, you know, if there's a driver that is an R3 driver like Bruno, he doesn't participate in a lot of races, even though he has podium pace every single time he signs on to iRacing. Ooh, all right, good move here. John Wilson is all over the rear end of that AO Racing Rexy. This is a great race. John Wilson is newer to the Riot Motorsports Sim Racing League. Season 7 was his first season, but he is wicked fast. He's very crafty as well. He is definitely one you're going to want to look out for. So, there's so much good racing happening right now. And this is just the sprint. So here's the weird thing about the sprint. Because it's a reverse grid for the 45-minute main event, a lot of times people will play strategy. You know, maybe it's not worth it to go for that extra position if it's going to put you at a disadvantage. You only get points for the top 6 finishing positions in the sprint race. Not everybody, but you know, the points haul for the sprint race is a lot smaller than the main event. So strategy might come into play here. Here we are on board with watching Carter in that amazing Taco Bell livery, and behind him Spencer's in the Taco Bell livery, and then behind him is Carter in the Rocket League livery. There's amazing liveries here. You're going to see a lot of cars with the big script R on the side, like we're seeing on screen right now. 4 of the 5 cars are Riot Motorsports cars, and that's a livery that you'll actually see if you go to the Utah Motorsports campus. Riot Racing is a real racing team. You can go there. They have a whole stable of cars, a lot of Porsches, really great group of guys. I mean, they're represented here today. You know, a lot of these cars, like the one on screen right there, that's Mr. Bryson Liu and Michael Shumway. Michael Shumway's livery in real life looks very similar to that livery in a car that is very similar to that car. They're both Porsche 992s. So far in this race, it's actually been a lot more tame than expected. You know, with a field as big as this field, is the biggest field that the Riot Motorsport Sim Racing League has ever seen, I expected a lot more carnage. But it looks like the drivers are kind of settling in and they're taking what they can get in this sprint qualifying race. And we'll see if the bottle comes uncorked for the main event. That's such a good-looking McLaren right there. Whose car is that? Is that Yannick? Oh, no, that's not. That's Miller. Miller. The McLarens just look great in general. They're one of the sexiest cars that you can, you know, be lucky enough to own or at least see a picture of. But this particular, with the Riot livery, it looks phenomenal, I think. I think the Riot Motorsports team. Ooh! Oh, Miller got into the back of Yannick for sure. Definitely a little bit of argy-bargy, but both able to continue. Getting back to the penalty points. So you do get penalty points for making contact with other drivers. You get penalty points for going off track. If you accrue 20 penalty points in a race, you are given a drive-through penalty. There are no disqualifications in this racing league. Ooh. Shane making a move back on the inside of John. Oh, and that's going to let Bryson and Michael into this fight. Oh, good racing up front. This is exactly what we want to see. There's like a pack of, what is that, 2, 4, 6, 7 drivers in the lead group, all within, I mean, what, a couple of tenths of seconds of one another? That's amazing. This is exactly what you get when you watch the Riot Motorsports Sim Racing League. Is good, respectful racing, but it's also aggressive. These guys want to win, and they're all really talented, and they all spend a lot of time in cars, either in the sim or in real life, or both, and you see it here on track. You know, Shane and John are having a really, really great battle back and forth, but it's respectful. They're not punting each other off track. They're getting ahead with their racecraft, which is what you want to see. Oh no! Oh, Michael with a big moment. Oh, and a sympathy spin from Miller. Oh, Michael lost it. This is a racetrack where it's really, really easy to go off track. We're going to replay right here. So we'll see what happens. Michael, yeah, just on entry, gets a little snap of oversteer, and car number 11, that's Jack in the background, just a sympathy spin. You know, sometimes when someone spins in front of you, you just check up just enough, and these drivers are driving on the absolute edge of adhesion, so any little adjustment that doesn't need to be made can put you over the edge, and it looks like that might have been what happened with Jack there. This is an incredibly fast racetrack. I mean, these guys are getting speeds upwards of 160 miles when they're entering the sweeper at the at the far end of the racetrack, and you know, there's not a lot of visual markers. You'll notice that this racetrack doesn't have the meter boards that you see traditionally on racetracks that'll say, you know, 300 meters out, 200 meters out, 100 meters out as braking reference. It doesn't have those, and there's not a lot of features on the track that are very easy to find marking, reference points around the racetrack. So it's easy to make a little mistake. I think that's what we probably saw out of, oh no, oh gosh. Speaking of little mistakes, John has run a little bit wide. That's going to put him in the back of the pack. That means Shane Wilcox is going to inherit the lead of the sprint race with 7 minutes and 35 seconds left to go to establish the reverse starting order for the main event. Oh, and Bryson getting racy, making a move along the inside, going through the rabbit's ear. And Bryson, they're going side by side. They're leaving room for each other. Bryson's going to leave just barely enough room for Shane on the outside. Shane is going to drop his 2 wheels. He's going to check up, think better of making it a contentious battle going up and through the Omega. It's like a reverse corkscrew at Laguna Seca. That's what that corner is. And then you come up and you crest right over the top, right as you're hitting the Budweiser balcony between turns 4 and 5. And then you get a nice little compression at turn 5. And it sets you up for a long wings leg, the repass pass. This is one of the better passing opportunities on track, as we are seeing John trying to make a pass on the car number 16 of Lincoln Larson. Oh, good racing so far. This is such good stuff. This is a really, really great racetrack to start the season 8 of the Riot Motorsport Sim Racing League on. It's just, oh, okay. All right, lot going on right there. Let's try to unravel what happened. Andrew Malin with his second major excursion off-road of the race. It's he and that's Alex Faust. See, it looks like Andrew maybe goes for a little bit of an up and under. Alex gives him... Alex squeezes him a little bit. Yeah, okay. So when he gets up on the curb there, that's what punts. That's what unsettles Andrew's car. And both of them are along for the ride at this point. The curbs around this track are massively disruptive to the weight distribution of a car. You can't touch a lot of these curbs here. They will just send you off track, and that's exactly what we saw from Andrew Malin. Ooh, a little bit of a snap from Shane. Shane's off track. Oh, man. And it's so easy to do around that final complex of the sweeper in turn 9. It's an incredibly fast corner, and you really have to get through it on feel. It's not a flat-out corner, but it's not far from it. So you have to check up a little bit, but if you do too much, you are going to lose lap time. So these drivers are driving largely on feel through those corners. And there's John making his way back up the field, back into P3. He is right behind Bruno Carniero. This is going to be an awesome battle to watch. I want to watch this right here. So it's John, Lincoln, and Bruno, which are 3 incredibly fast drivers. John and, well, all 3 of them honestly have very, very good racecraft. This is awesome. We're on board right now with Lincoln, following John Wilson. 3 different manufacturers represented in this race as well. Lincoln's in the Lamborghini. It's the Huracan GT3 Evo, and then John, of course, is in that beautiful-looking Mustang GT3 car, and then the Bruno is in the McLaren, the 720S, in old McLaren livery. Let's see, Bruno and John going side by side down main straightaway. Oh, John's going to get ahead of Bruno. That was awesome. Such good stuff. Got it done before the corner, going single file through Castrol Corner into the Rabbit Ear, and making their way around the long carousel. Is anybody going to get a run on anyone else? No, they are not. Right now we are watching George. George is in the number 23 Porsche 992 with the Riot livery. Oh, no, I'm sorry. I was thinking about Michael Shumway. That's George in the R8. He's the only R8 in the field. That's a great-looking car as well. Another Riot liveried car. And Michael is all over the back of George. Is Michael going to be able to make something happen in the final 4 minutes and 4 minutes and 15 seconds left in this race? Oh, man, this is good stuff. And then behind Michael, you can see Carter. Another incident. Oh, no. Oh, that's a big one. What happened there? That looks like... Who's that? That's John in the McLaren. Nope. Looking for the incident right here. So Waleed is on the outside of Mike Cowley. And... ooh, yeah. And then John and Kelly, they check up, and Kelly gets spun around. Oh, that's too bad. They were having a decent race right there. And then, Andrew Malin just barely gets around on the outside, avoiding his 3rd off-road excursion of the sprint race. Oh, man. Well, I mean, the good news is, again, the damage is turned off in these races, so they're able to continue. And at this point in the race, one of the reasons why the damage is turned off on these cars is because it gives you a chance to fight and make something happen. There's 3 minutes and 45 seconds left in the race. If that were to happen and they had to go to pit lane and wait for the repairs to be made, that's race over, and no one wants to see that. At the end of the day, the Riot Motorsport Sim Racing League is just about having fun, and for these drivers, it's having good racing, and for us that are watching, it's about watching good racing. So, they thought that turning the damage off allowed the maximum amount of battling to happen, like this battle that we're seeing right here between Michael Shumway and George and Carter. Oh, this is great stuff. Oh, that's great stuff. Michael gets around Carter, and let's see. I remember what's car number 77. Car number 77 is Carter. Okay, got it. Okay, sorry. With 31 cars in the field and it being the first race of the season, I'm still learning everyone's liveries. We've had some drivers that have switched up liveries. We've had some drivers that have switched up manufacturers. So please be patient with me as I learn what the heck is going on. We have a driver in the pit with 2 minutes and 40 seconds left to go. That's not good. Miller pulled to the pits for some reason. I wonder what happened. Ooh, and in the background, that looks like Chris Castelli was off track. Why Miller pulled in? Oh, geez. Oh, that was Michael and who did Michael get together with? Car number 77. Michael and Carter got together. That was a big incident. Like Michael had checked up for some reason. Michael was going slow, and I don't think Carter realized it. Just ran into the back of him. In the background, you can see Chris Castelli coming back on track. Big incident with 2 minutes and 30 seconds left. So, the day's not done for these guys. Again, because it's sim racing, it's not like their crew is not going to be able to fix it in time. It just means that they're going to start a little bit further up the field. Ooh, spinner, chicken dinner. Who's that in the background? Car number 16 goes around. Lincoln Larson. Oh, he'd been having a great race. And Lincoln and, let's see. Yeah, Bruno, what happens there? So watching the replay of what happened, Lincoln makes a dive down the inside. Bruno says, thank you, no thank you. I'm going to shut the door. And Lincoln is going to get into the back of Bruno and spin out. He's going to be able to continue. We'll see where he ends up shaking out in the order. I don't think he's going to lose that many spots. But Shane Wilcox is up in, let's see, P4. Is he going to be able to track down Bruno in the next lap or two? John Wilson with the fastest lap with a 1:12.734. That is an incredibly quick lap. I would imagine we'll see how far the lap times fall during the main event, the 45-minute main event. Tire degradation, as I mentioned, is very high on this track. It's not that big of a factor during the sprint race, but in the main event, the drivers are going to have to manage their tires. There is no mandatory pit stop in the main event. However, you basically have to stop because they're limited on fuel. Basically, you can't make it to the end of the race and the amount of fuel that everyone starts with, so you have to pit. And when you pit, you have to make a decision on whether, is that Bruno slowing down? Oh, what happened to Bruno? Wow. Shane making his way around the outside, and there's no way Bruno... I wonder what happened there. Bruno was going really slowly at the end of the straightaway. I wonder... Yeah, he could have potentially gone off track and gotten a slowdown penalty. Oh, that's unfortunate. Bruno was having a great race, but that does put Shane up into the podium positions with John in second, Bryson Liu up in the lead. Oh, there's a good way battle right now. This is who's that? That's Kelly and William and who's that? Kyle, Spencer, Kelly, and William. Okay. William is going to get the... Whoop! He goes off track there. He's going to get the award for the weirdest livery. It's just his face over and over again. But... Kelly's having himself a good race. I honestly, just purely aesthetically speaking, some cars look awesome. Maybe even a little more awesome than others. And the Ford Mustang GT3 car looks pretty awesome. It looks like a proper race car. And Kelly is driving it well, trying to get around Spencer Pruitt. So this has been a really, really exciting sprint race. There's no way that we're going to be able to, ooh, driver off course. Who's that? That's driver off course. Is that Logan? Ooh, he's going to a rally. Oh, geez. John Feeney off course doing a little bit of rally racing. And Andrew Malin deciding to take a shortcut on the inside, go off track on the inside. So checkered flag is out. And we are all crossing the finish line. Andrew looks like he held on to P14. So the grid is being set right now as these drivers are crossing the finish line. Oh, another driver off track. Chris Castelli again. Oh my gosh. What is going on right now? A lot of drivers off track here as they are crossing the finish line. There we go. All right. So I believe there are only a couple more drivers left to finish this race, and then the order will be set for the 45-minute main event. Again, it's a reverse grid for the 45-minute main event, which means Bryson, congratulations. You won the race. You get to start in the back, followed by John Wilson. It looks like we're race is, yep. So the sprint race is over. This is, I mean, it's so exciting watching all 31 racers out on track doing what they do, particularly a track like this. There's only 9 turns. It's not an overly complex track when you look at a track map, but there's so much subtlety to it. The curbs, like you're seeing right there, are massive. They're very unsettling to a car. So there's a lot of subtlety with that. There's a lot of elevation change going through, the Omega up to Budweiser Balcony and around Monroe Ridge. That's a big up and down. The sweeper is so fast towards the end of the end of the lap. They are going 150, 160 miles an hour, and they just barely don't have the grip level to go flat out through the sweeper and the final turn 9. So, even though from the outside it might look like this track is not that complicated, there's a lot of subtlety and a lot of feel that goes into putting in a quick lap around the Willow Springs Raceway. And speaking of the quick lap, I looked this up. The fastest lap that's ever been done here was done back in 1987 by Mario Andretti in, I think it was a Lola. It was back in the kart days. And it's a 106.050. And you think about 1987, the safety standards that were there. And this is honestly, Willow Springs is one of the more safe tracks that you're ever going to run on because there's so much runoff everywhere that you go. But in 1987, the cars had 800 horsepower. They weighed 700 kilograms and almost no safety. Like, it is just mind-blowing that drivers in that era did what they did. It is phenomenal. These cars are doing, 1 minute 12, so 6 seconds quicker in 1987 around this track. And one of the joys about Willow Springs is that because the configuration hasn't changed literally ever since 1953, you get actually very good comparative lap times. They're not adding chicanes here, adding chicanes there, so you can look back and try to envision what it was like for Mario Andretti in a rocket ship to get around this track 6 seconds faster than these modern race cars are going. It's just crazy to think about. Anyways, we are in the formation lap for the 45-minute main event. The clock is running. The drivers are all forming up. It is a reverse grid, and we see John Wilson in P1, followed by William. Oh, never mind. I'm sorry. I'm looking at my telemetry here, and I am not seeing what is. I'm still trying to figure it out. Again, knocking the rust off after a break from Season 7. So, Andy Munch, Miller, Chris Castelli, TJ Hammond, Alex Faust, Yannick, and Braden Hammond are leading the group of 31 drivers on the formation lap. There's only one formation lap, so this is the only opportunity drivers get to get some heat into their tires. Now, as I said before, this is a fuel limited race, so everybody starts with 45% of the maximum capacity of their fuel tank. And that's done so that there is not a mandatory pit stop, but if you want to get to the end of the race, you have to take a pit stop. So there is that strategy that comes into play. When do you take your pit stop? And the strategy is a whole different level with the reverse grid and this many drivers, because you don't want to get caught behind back markers for too long if you're a quick driver trying to make your way through the field. You also don't want to eat up the tires so you have nothing left at the end of the race. So, I think we're probably going to see a decent amount of split strategies between drivers. That is going to be a deciding factor in the race. There are multiple positions that can be made up in a race like this when you have to decide not only when to take your pit stop, but also how many tires to take. Pace car is off, and it looks like Andy is controlling the pace. When is he going to go? When is he going to go? It looks like he is off and going. We are off to the races. This is great stuff. Everybody spreads out. We're 3 wide. We're 4 wide going into the Castrol corner, the 90-degree left-hand corner. Oh, look at that. Miller hanging around the outside. Miller's a very quick driver. He is definitely misgridded starting in the front of this grid by finishing in the back of the last race. Miller is quick. He's got a new car this year. Last year he was in a Lamborghini. This year he's driving the McLaren. He has a new livery. Last year he was in the Dad Racing livery. Now he's in the Riot Motorsports livery. So everything new for Miller this year. But what is not new is his pace. He is quick, and he's showing it right here. He's pulling a gap. He's already got 1/6 of a second on Andy Munch. Now, again, this is a reverse grid. So Andy and Miller were the worst finishers in the sprint race, but that's not necessarily indicative of the speed. We saw so much chaos, like we're seeing in the background right now, with multiple cars going off track. Braden Hammond, it looks like he might have gotten pegged by Spencer. Oh, look at that. Andrew Malin and Spencer get together. That's going to run Spencer wide. Spencer's got nowhere to go at this point. He is just trying to hang on. He's going to get into Braden, spin Braden around. That is definitely what I would call a no-fault incident. That's aggressive. Oh, geez. Okay, and Spencer enters the racetrack by jumping over one of the barriers and runs directly into Michael and causes more chaos. Oh, my gosh. Oh, this is maybe the downside to having the damage turned off. Is these guys are kind of just rallying all over the place to get back on track. That is a massive amount of carnage in the opening lap, but it's kind of what you expect with 31 drivers, with the quick drivers in the rear and the fast drivers in the front. This is great. Great stuff. Michael Shumway is able to continue. That's, again, I love that the damage is turned off because, something like that normally would have put Michael Shumway a lap down, 2 laps down, but he's able to continue. They just have to watch out for those penalty points, of which they get 20. More chaos happening in the background. Oh, man, there's so much going on right now. This is such good racing. It's fun as a spectator, but I guarantee you the guys in the cars are having just as much fun as we are watching. Even, when you get punted off track, yes, that's very frustrating, but there's still 43 minutes left in the race. And I know it's kind of a weird silver lining, but if you're going to have an incident like that, do it early. So you have a whole bunch of time to make up for it, to have a great recovery drive. Bruno Carniero is up into P7. He's wicked fast. He is pestering the heck out of Logan right now. Logan in the patinaed McLaren. It looks like he's got an interesting livery. I love seeing all the different liveries. Bruno representing Brazil right now. Not only... Is that a replay? No, that's not a replay. Okay, coming through the sweeper into turn 9, back onto the main straightaway. Bruno gets great drive. There's Chris Castelli. Let's see, ran a little bit wide. Oh, no! Oh, he got very, very close to taking out a few other drivers. It's so hard to control a car on dirt, particularly when, these tires are slick tires. So entering the track, as weird as it sounds, is fairly complicated. It's hard to enter and stay on the outside edge. Sometimes you just get a little snap of oversteering and find yourself right in front of other drivers. So Chris Castelli did a great job of avoiding some more drama there. We have drivers going wide. Right now we are watching TJ Hammond. TJ Hammond is in the Ferrari 296 GT3 car. And what's interesting about that livery is it might look familiar, but just on a different car. That is the Ford livery, the Mustang GT3 livery that you would see in real life, but it is on a Ferrari, and I love it. It looks awesome. I also love the neon livery up ahead. Good battle right here. We are switching to, that is, let's see, Bryson, Bruno, and who's right ahead? Yannick ahead. No, Yannick is behind. This is great stuff. Kyle in the Lego livery is... Bruno's going to use him as a pick here going into turn 1. He's going to make his way around the outside. Oh, yes, absolutely. That was an incredibly crafty move from Bruno, putting Kyle in between himself and Bryson Liu. Kyle is, I think, a lap down. It looks like he might have had an incident. He's on the lead lap, but Bruno and Bryson are two of the faster drivers that we have in the Riot Motorsports League. And honestly, two of the faster drivers that you're ever going to meet. So we're seeing a lot of craftsmanship early on. And, you know, the multi-class racing is such an exciting factor to add to these races. Again, they're all in the same equipment, but the classes are divvied by, you know, again, how much the drivers are participating in, you know, how quick they are and what their results are. So, you know, you might be racing against, you know, someone in your class that's three cars ahead. So you got to make your way around them. And that's true in any type of multi-class racing. But what also makes it interesting is you have the people that are further down in the field, you know, that might be battling for P16 or 17 on track. But they're battling for a podium in their race class. So that's another thing that Riot's done to just keep it interesting and make sure that people are battling up and down the field. Like right now, we're seeing George battle it out with, who's that? It was George and Ollie? Having a nice side-by-side battle. Jack Liston right now is going side-by-side. Oh, who's that? Jack and George going side-by-side. Oh, I love it. Oh. Coming through the carousel, going up the Omega. Definitely not a place you want to go side by side, even though a couple of drivers are driving it right now in the Mercedes and the Audi R8. Oh, good stuff. That is not... Whew, Jack going down the inside of Ollie to claim 15th position. So 38 minutes and 50-ish seconds left in this race. We're just barely over 5 minutes in, and there's already been no shortage of drama. Bruno Carniero is screaming around the track right now. He has the fastest lap of the 112.6. I'd imagine that is not going to stand for the entire race because once these drivers get some clean air, they are going to be able to start flying. Bruno dives down the inside, going into corner one, and makes a nice and easy pass on Andy Munch and continues his charge up the field. He is currently in P3, and he's going to start chipping away at the 4.3 second gap between him and TJ Hammond. More side-by-side racing here. That's Andrew Malin. And Andrew Malin gets checked up with Kelly. Oh, Kelly set a pick. Oh, but Kelly gets a snap oversteer and hands it back to Andrew Malin. Oh, that is awesome stuff. I'm sorry, that wasn't Kelly. That was Bryson. Sorry, still learning the names. Thank you all very much for your patience. Oh, Bryson. Bryson's quick. He's having himself a race. You know, he's in P6. He's going to make his way up. I would expect him to be near the front at the end of the race if he can get around Austin Kent, which is he going to do it through the sweepers? This isn't a great place to pass because it's so high speed. Austin Kent is blinking a little bit as well, having a connectivity issue. That makes it really hard to pass someone, by the way, when they're blinking, because right now that car is still on track somewhere and Bryson just can't see where it is. Bryson's going to be in the slipstream. He is going to hitch his wagon to Austin for just a moment and then pop out, late on the brakes, stay to the inside, drift out, and Austin is not going to be able to answer back. Bryson is now squarely in P5. Good work from Bryson as he makes his way up the field. Right now, Lincoln Larson, he's a quick driver, had a couple dramatic moments in the sprint race, finds himself behind Kyle in the Lego livery, one of my favorite liveries out there. Just love anything that's colorful and doesn't look like the other liveries, so I know who it actually is. Thank you, Kyle. I appreciate it. Lincoln Larson is pestering him. Further down the field, we have Jake in the great-looking McLaren with a little bit of neon. Jake is in P15 with Ollie behind him. Ollie in the BMW. Ollie's a great guy. He actually drives a BMW in real life. I believe it's an E46 is what he drives on track, and he is one of the people that represents Riot Motorsports, not only in the Riot Motorsports Sim Racing League, but also in real life at the Utah Motorsports campus. Jack Liston is currently pestering Michael Shumway. He is testing the waters, seeing where he might be able to make a pass. Runs a little bit wide right there. Ooh, okay. All right. They're both going to have to make their way around the Neon Mustang GT3. And Jack is going to make a move at some point, but when is it going to happen? Is he going to be using another driver as a pick? Ooh, and he's in that beautiful-looking Corvette. That Corvette Z06 is a new car to iRacing in the GT3. Or no, is he in a McLaren? Oh, yep. Nope, he's in a McLaren. Saw the V on the front. I thought that was the Corvette logo. But that's a McLaren. Also a beautiful-looking car. This is good stuff. There's 10 minutes into the race, and I believe I've gotten at least a half a dozen people's names wrong, and now I've gotten a manufacturer wrong. So, okay, doing great here in the first race of the season. Michael Shumway and Jack Liston are now all over the back of Austin Kent's Porsche 992. Austin's definitely having connectivity issues, and that's got to create problems for the drivers behind because, you know, he could potentially just pop in front of you when you're trying to make a pass. Oh, Jack's running a little bit wide right there. Let's see. Are they going to be able to take advantage of the aerodynamic draft to get around Austin Kent? Yes, Michael is, and yes, Jack is. Michael and Jack have battled it out so much throughout the seasons. It's great to see them continue to do it at Willow Springs. Up front, Miller doing an amazing job. He's got a 3.1 second gap on Bruno. With all the fighting in the background, Miller has just been able to put in clean laps. You know, he's putting in consistent laps. You can see Bruno lurking in the background. Miller is very, very quick. How long can he maintain a 3-second gap to Bruno Carneiro, a gentleman who has competed at some of the highest levels of motorsports, a gentleman who has won championships at some of the highest levels of motorsports, a gentleman who is an incredibly quick sim racer, is now eating into the lead of Miller. It was 3.1 seconds just a half a lap ago, already down to 2.5. And Bryson Liu, another driver who's trying to charge his way up the field, another driver who's incredibly quick. Ooh, big incident, big drama. On the last corner of the race right there, a number of drivers involved. Looks like, let's see, that's Kelly, that's Shane. Who else was involved in that? Ooh, multiple cars involved. Let's see what happened here. We're on board with Kelly. Coming around turn 8. They're going to breathe off the throttle. Oh, and there's a driver that spins ahead. And Kelly, is that Kyle that spun ahead of Kelly? And Kelly has to make a decision here, but that's such a fast corner of the track. There's really nothing you can do. And he gets collected. Oh, that's rough. You know, when you're going 160 miles an hour and you are already on the limit of adhesion for the tires and something like that happens, you're kind of just a passenger. There's not a lot of evasive, maneuvers that you can do in that scenario, and that's exactly what we saw. So there's 6 cars involved off track. They're going to be able to continue. They're only going to get their penalty points for either making contact or leaving the track. Damage is turned off. Again, this is one of the reasons why the Riot Sim Racing League decided to do that, was to keep people on track, keep them hopefully on the lead lap. And the other thing actually to mention about the penalties is there's no disqualifications. The drive-through penalty, if you get 20 incident points. But there's another element to that. After the races, everybody gets on Discord and they discuss any of these big incidents. And if they find that someone is either overly aggressive or, if they just did something really, really silly, then they're awarded penalty points to their championship. So it's not that they just kind of get to, go bowling for body work the entire time and they get to walk away and that's the end of it. No, there is actually recourse. And, one of the things that, is really nice is to be a part of those conversations. And everyone's civil. It's not like you would expect. It's just everyone being mature about good, hard racing. And, that's what makes the league so great right now. We're on board with John Wilson. John Wilson, diving down the inside. Oh, big lunge down the inside, going through the sweepers. He's going to get around Ollie. Is he going to get a twofer, making his way around Kelly? No, he's not. Is he going to be able to get a run on Kelly? He might. We'll see. Is he making a lunge? He's a quick driver. He's very crafty. John Wilson, first season was last season, season 7. Really made a huge impact. Just out of the box, was incredibly quick and was promoted up from an R3 driver to an R2 driver incredibly quickly, and we can see right here he's doing a great job. Logan in, again, the patinaed McLaren is trying to find his way around Carter. Carter is in P17, so he's mid-pack. I don't know where he started the race, so I don't know if he's gained or lost positions, but we're kind of at that point of the race where you start seeing, whoop, there's Kelly going off again. Is that Kelly? No. Who's in the, Andy Minch going off in the neon Mustang GT3 car. I'm very glad that the modeling for these cars doesn't show dust a lot, because that neon car is awesome, and I would hate for it to get covered up with the California desert dust. Oh, Bruno is caught up. Whoa, all right. Caught up and around Miller. So just like that, the lead changes. Miller was doing a great job distancing himself from the group, but you can only do that for so long when you have someone as talented as Bruno hunting you down. And Bruno, with the fastest lap, now takes the lead of the race. But we're also getting to a point where you have to conserve your consumables. You have to conserve the tires. And you are going to see a fall off at some point. A little wiggle right there from Bruno, and that could have been the tires starting to deteriorate. So these guys have to decide, when do I push? How hard do I push? Ollie right now, Spencer, trying to get around Austin. Ooh, Austin loses it going up into the Omega towards the Budweiser balcony. That's unfortunate. Spencer's going to get around him. Carter's going to get around Spencer. Look like Spencer ran a little wide there as well. But this is the point in the race where you start seeing those consumables start to play a factor. These cars, some of them are fairly drivable. They don't punish you that much. The Ferrari's a great example. They're a couple drivers running wide. They're going to be able to continue. Then it's car number 62. It's Yannick and Jack Liston right there. They're going to be able to continue on as they go through turn number 1. But some of these cars, they don't bite you as hard if you get it a little bit wrong. They're a little bit more drivable, but because of that, sometimes you're wearing your tires out a little bit more than you realize. You're not getting punished with the big snap of understeer. So, you push a little bit. You get a little bit of oversteer on the front tires. If you don't pay attention to that, then you're going to wear the front tires out. Or, conversely, cars like the M4 or the Mercedes, it's easy to burn the rear tires. Those cars have a ton of power and a lot of oversteer. Ooh, good racing right there. Oh, that's John Wilson. That's a front row seat to Jake and Shane battling it out for the top 10. This is great stuff. This is exactly what we want to see. It's just, it's thrilling. It's extraordinary racing. It's captivating. This is the entertainment that that everybody wants to see in racing. When the field is big, this is what you're going to get. You're going to get entertaining battles up and down the field the entire time, like this one right here with Michael Shumway, who is battling it out with Ollie. Michael is going to dive to the outside, going down the straightaway. Is he going to be able to make it all the way around to Ollie? Is he going to be brave and try to hang it around the outside of Castrol Corner? Nope, he doesn't have to. He's able to make the pass before the corner, dives down inside, shuts the door on Ollie. Ollie is not able to answer back, and Michael gains one more position up to P12 and now has Kelly in front of him trying to he's gonna try to see what he can do to get well into the top 10. John Wilson and Shane are having an epic battle. Oh, this is so fun to watch. It's American muscle versus German muscle. It's mid-engine versus front engine. It's AO racing versus whatever livery John is racing in. I'm sorry, I don't know which livery that is, but it's just great stuff. Michael Shumway is up in P12. He's ahead of Ollie, and he has caught Kelly Hatcher. Just a half a second separates the two of them as they're coming around the big old sweeper. And Michael goes right out to the edge of the track and is going to feather his way through corner 9, the last corner right there, and he is properly in the stream of Kelly. He's going to jump outside, hard on the brakes, make a move to the inside. Is he going to run wide? Nope, he is not. He's going to keep it tight And Kelly does not have the ability to answer back. That was a great move from Michael Shumway. Textbook move. He is just one position away from the top 10 and making moves forward. But we're back following the Donnybrook between John Wilson and Shane Wilcox as they go up the Omega corner complex. It's turn 4 and 5. It's reminiscent of going backwards up the corkscrew at Laguna Seca. And then they head down corner 5 over to Monroe Ridge, and John has started to pull a little bit of a gap on Shane. So where is Shane going to be able to get that gap back down? Let's see. We're looking. Lincoln Larson right now is in P7. Lincoln Larson is on the move. Ooh, he's running wide right there. So these drivers have to be careful because if you get 20 incident points, you have to do a drive-through penalty. And that right there is an incident point. It's not that hard to get. So he runs off track. He gets an incident point. They're going to have to keep an eye on that. He does it again right there. So at some point, you might have to drive differently, drive below the limit, maybe not take as many risks to avoid that drive-through penalty. Now, I don't have access to how many penalty points these drivers have, but I guarantee at this point, some of them, we're not even at the halfway point, and some of them are already racking up a fair amount of points. Carter trying to put a move on Ollie right here. Good three-way battle. It's Carter, Ollie, and Jake. Oh, good stuff. Good stuff. Oh, and Kelly's in the background. The number of 3, 4, and 5 car battles. Oh, Jake. Oh, Jake loses it. Did he get a little bit of help? Looks like he might have been checked up a little bit by Ollie. Does Ollie shut the door on him? Ollie swings wide, comes back down, and it's a little hard to tell from that angle whether Jake spun on his own or he got a little bit of help from Ollie. It looks like the two might have come together. Ollie left him a lane. Now, they're on two different racing lines. Through that corner, there are a couple of different ways to attack it. So, it's two guys on different line, two different racing lines. I assume Jake maybe didn't realize there was the overlap that was there. Ollie is an incredibly clean driver. There's no way he would have shut the door on him and caused contact on purpose. On board right now with Lincoln Larson. Okay, so Lincoln is the first one to pull into the pits. Lincoln is pulling into the pits at just, not even the halfway point. So he is going to refill his car, his Lamborghini Huracan GT3 Evo, and then they have a decision. They can take no new tires, they can take 2 new tires, and they can take all 4. Having all 4 tires is going to give you the most amount of grip for the rest of the race. However, you're going to be sitting in the pit lane for a lot longer. So strategy is coming into play. Bruno Carnero is diving down. Oh, he's side by side with who is that? That's Brad. Richard in one of the Corvettes. Now I can talk about a Corvette because there's actually a Corvette on screen, not a McLaren. The Z06, such a cool looking car. Whoa, keep it together. Come on. Yes. Oh, what a save. Oh, man, that is some spirited driving there. Was able to find his way off the racetrack to the left and then off the racetrack to the right, and he kept the car moving in the right direction, was able to gain without continue going without gaining any damage. So, good job. All right. Right now we're watching John Feeney. That is a good-looking McLaren right there. He's new to the Riot Motorsport Sim Racing League. It's always awesome to see new people. Obviously we see familiar faces year after year, season after season. But it's awesome that word gets out there, and we're seeing new faces, and we're seeing these people that want to come and join the league, and people are welcome. You got to be a good guy about it. You don't have to be the fastest driver in the world, but if you look, everyone is being respectful. There are a lot of incidents, and people are racing hard, but the incidents are not overly aggressive. It's just people pushing the limit, and, there's always going to be some overlap when you have two people that are on the limit. But the racing in this league is so respectful, and it's one of the things I love about it. It's not, just a demolition derby out there. These guys, they all do a good job of, keeping it respectful and keeping it chippy as well sometimes. I mean, it's good racing. It's great racing. I love seeing it. And I love seeing Shane Wilcox and the AO Racing Porsche 992. It's such a cool car. That car in real life. And IMSA had a phenomenal year. I think it won the GTD class. Had a couple of gold teeth added to that front grille, which are not on that skin. And Shane is going to make a dive down the inside of Yannick in turn 1, and he is going to take over P6. So Shane, he's one of those guys. You can go down the order, and again, everyone's quick. Everyone, it is a good driver, but there's a certain number of people you can go down and say that person can win a race. Doesn't matter what the race is. That person is capable of winning a race, and Shane is one of those people, and he's making moves up the order. He is going to have to try to track down John Wilson. That's a tall order, and John's going to be a hard person to pass. And Yannick also, he's another driver that does a great job. He's not, professional racer, but he does an awesome job. He is a competitive driver. He fights hard. He fights clean. He and Michael Shumway right now are in a great battle in the top 10, and that's the type of stuff that you'd expect from both of them. Michael makes a move down the inside. That is going through the sweeper. Oh, great move by Michael. Michael's very consistent, by the way. Michael's not the type of person that's ever going to blow the doors off with his pace, but he's so consistent. He's always there at the end of the race, and I love to see that. There's certain guys that can put in a screaming fast lap, but they struggle to string it together. Michael is not that guy. He doesn't struggle to string it together. He is very, very consistent. He's capable of podiums. Ooh, a little bit of drama there going into pit lane. We have a couple more drivers peeling off to get a new set of tires and more fuel. Who is that? That's Waleed, who is also... he's a new guy too. Don't recognize that name. Waleed, welcome to the Riot Motorsport Sim Racing League Season 8. Hopefully the Mercedes is serving you well. I wish we could see if they were taking 2 tires or 4 tires or no tires, because that would be great. Now again, this racetrack does have higher degradation than other racetracks. Right now we're watching William Higgins, another R3 driver. He is new to the Riot Motorsport Sim Racing League. And speaking of new things, William, I think you should get a new skin, a new livery for your car. It's kind of bugging me out a little bit. I mean, I appreciate that it's distinctive, but any skin-colored car with eyeballs is not really going to be my favorite. Just, it's got, maybe some Buffalo Bill vibes to it. Anyways, very happy to see all these drivers, all the new drivers in the league. Again, this is the largest field that the Riot Motorsport Sim Racing League has had. 31 drivers, and 30 of them are behind Bruno Carniero. His fast lap is standing up at 112.677. He has managed to pull out an 8.8 second gap on Miller. And Miller's quick. So that is very, very impressive. He is screaming right now around Willow Springs. And I wonder if he's just burning those tires off, knowing that he's going to pit soon. Or, is he going to be able to manage that gap? Nope, there he is. He's pulling in right now. All right, perfect timing on that. So he put in a couple flyers to build as much of a gap as he could. Miller follows him into the pit, so they're going to stay in the same strategy. There isn't going to be an offset there on tire or fuel unless one of those drivers takes a different allocation of tires, whether they take 2 versus 4. So that is going to turn the lead over to Bryson Liu. No, it looks like Bryson's also popping in the pits. Lead gets handed over to Shane Wilcox. Okay, so there are a lot of drivers right now that are pulling into the pits. And Shane looks like he's going long. Looks like Yannick's going long. Yep, so we're starting to see a lot of the drivers pull into the pits. Refill. Again, every driver starts. Woo! Oh, gosh. Who missed? Is that how did Bryson? Bryson is reversing down pit lane. I assume because he missed his pit box, which you don't see that very much in iRacing. But Bryson, he did it. So that is actually that's gonna his work cut out for him now. There's 17 minutes left in the race. He's going to have a sprint race to the finish. He was in a great spot for a podium. He finds himself now in P8. That'll drop him up to, he'll get up to a P6 when Shane and Yannick pit. So he is going to have to drive as hard as he can. He's going to be on the wheel for the next, oh no. And he just went off track. Oh, what happened? Oh, I wonder if he's having some sort of connectivity issue. There's either some connectivity issue or maybe he wasn't able to pit. Oh, I don't know what happened there. That's unfortunate for Bryson. But Shane just pulled into the pits, as did Yannick. So every single driver has or is making their pit stop, which means it is a flat-out race to the end. Who is going to conserve their tires? Who is going to just go all out and gain as many positions as they can? We've been racing for almost a half hour, and we still have, I think most of the drivers on the lead lap. That is so impressive. Bruno has just inherited the lead again. We'll see what kind of a gap he has. A 4-second gap to Miller. So Miller's actually made up time. He's made up 4.4 seconds since the pit stop. Is he going to be able to come back? I wonder if Miller potentially might have burnt his tires out, cooked his tires a little bit in that final stage, which is why he was falling away from Bruno. And hopefully he can make up some ground. John Wilson also took the fast lap away from Bruno. Out of the pits into a 112.5. That is a screaming lap, and he's about to make, he's trying to make light work of Shane, but Shane's not going to give up the position that easily. There he does. Finds his way around Shane. His tires are switched on quickly. You can see how much ground he's gaining on Shane in just a couple of corners, and that is absolutely a factor. You know, the tire modeling in iRacing is very realistic, so you have to bring the tires into temperature in a way that doesn't damage them later. You don't want to cook them early. So, you know, John, very good driver. I can't imagine he did do that, but he got his tires switched on quickly. Oh, yes. Oh, we saw our first blinking lights of the year. It's one of my favorite things to see in multi-class racing because it serves almost no purpose other than to annoy the person in front of you. In theory, it should be saying, hey, I'm in a different class. I'm faster than you. Please let me go. But it's not. It's just to annoy the person, to try to get them to look in their mirrors a little bit. I love it so much. Oh, okay. We have a full course yellow right now. So all the drivers are going to bunch up again, get back in formation. It's going to be, I believe, a single file restart. So one of the rules with Riot Motorsport Sim Racing League is that there are discretionary cautions. It's not a competition caution or a stage race or anything like that. It's meant to simulate real racing, because in real racing, sometimes you have races with no cautions. You're green the entire time. Other times, you have cautions. You don't know when it's going to happen. It can happen on the first lap. It can happen in the closing stages. It can happen in the middle. So what we're seeing right now is one of those discretionary cautions. So they're going to go around. The pace car is going to catch the lead car. Everyone is going to bunch up again. And then we are going to get a massively exciting end to this race. There's 14 minutes and almost 10 seconds left in this race, and that's a perfect sprint distance. All of these drivers have just pitted in the past few laps for tires. So this is turning out to be, it's setting up to be an absolutely phenomenal finish to this race. We are going to have a 12-minute shootout with everyone on new tires. No one needs to make pit stops. We have Bruno Carniero in the lead. He's swerving right now. He's warming, keeping temperature in his tires. Right behind him, physically on track, is Chris Castelli. I don't know if drivers are going to get a wave through or not, or if they're going to stay on track. Bruno is passing the pace car. I don't know if that's allowed. I don't know if you get a penalty to slow down for that. I don't think you do. So it looks like the lapped drivers are not going to get a wave through, which is going to make this so exciting. Just absolutely phenomenal. This is such good racing. I'm so happy to be back talking to you guys through the Season 8 of the Riot Motorsport Sim Racing League. Again, if you're just tuning in, this is race number 1. We're at Willow Springs Raceway. Willow Springs is one of the most classic racetracks in the United States. It was built in the 50s in that sort of booming era where, you know, a lot of other racetracks were built, but this one has not changed its configuration in 71 years. The piece of earth that these drivers are racing on right now is the exact same piece of earth that Kenny Miles drove on, that Mario Andretti drove on, that every iconic driver that raced here raced on these exact, piece of earth. It's just phenomenal to see, and it's such a cool racetrack. I'm so glad that Riot decided to host their first race of the year here. And one thing I will say, the driving has been very respectful up until this point. Will these drivers get more aggressive in the closing stages of this race? I mean, everything. There have been a lot of incidents, but again, you can't chalk them up to necessarily being overly aggressive. They're just racing incidents. And in the closing stages of the race, everyone's on fresh tires. Nobody has to make pit stops. Every single person, every single driver here has an opportunity to pass another driver, except for one. And that's Bruno in the McLaren, keeping his tires warm behind the pace car. They're going to go around for one more lap. A couple drivers pulling into the pits. I wonder if there were a couple of drivers further down the order that hadn't pitted yet that are going to pit now. They're reshuffling. Okay, it looks like they are reshuffling. Okay, so the drivers that were not on the lead lap aren't getting a wave through, but the drivers that are in the lead lap are getting they're passing those drivers to get back. So the physical order matches the running order of the race. Okay, so that's what we're seeing right now. It looks a little bit chaotic. They're going to give them another full lap to try to clean this up, but that makes it just a little bit more exciting because now the driver in front of you on the restart is the person that you want to pass most, which I know sounds silly, but if there's 4 back markers in front of you, it's a little different than the person that has the position that you want to take away from them. And no one wants to take a position away from anyone more than Miller and Bruno. Miller was on pole position. He led the race for the whole beginning stage, had a decent gap. He had up to 3.1, 3.2 seconds on the entire field. And Bruno systematically made his way through the field and closed that gap and passed Miller and then pulled out a phenomenal lead until the caution. So we are going to have to see what Miller can do to try to take the top step away from Bruno Carneiro as we make our way around the racetrack for our second caution lap. I would imagine the pace cars are going to come in this lap, and we are going to go green, I would guess, with maybe 8.5 minutes left. So this is going to be a sprint among sprints, and that is exactly what we want to see. This is so fun. I love this. This is exactly what makes racing great. Obviously, the starts are exciting, middle stints are exciting, but nothing is as exciting as the closing stage of a race when the entire field is bunched up, and we're on board right now. This is Bruno scrubbing his tires. Lights are out on the pace car. That means it is going to be pulling into pit lane momentarily, and Bruno will control the pace of the field for the single file restart. This is such good stuff. I love it. I love it. Something is going to happen. I guarantee it. Something is going to happen. 31 drivers all doing whatever they can to get in front of the driver in front of them. Something is going to happen. This is so exciting. This is great stuff. I am so glad the damage is turned off right now. So pace car is in. Bruno is off and running. Bruno gets an early start. He gets a good jump on Miller. Miller is, he might be vulnerable to John. No, looks like John's a little bit further back. Bruno gets an awesome jump. His tires were switched on. He is off and running. He is going to be very, very hard to catch. And Miller is under a lot of pressure from John Wilson. John in the Mustang GT3, Miller in the McLaren 720S GT3 Evo. This is the race right here. 8 minutes left to race. John is going to make his way around the outside, going up the Omega. Is he going to get it done? Yes, he is. He keeps it on track. What a good move coming up and over Budweiser balcony. So John finds his way into P2. Miller down into P3. Now is Miller going to come under pressure from Michael Shumway in the Porsche 992.2 with the Riot livery. Oh, we'll have to see. There's currently a 7/10 of a second gap between the two of them. We're going to keep an eye on that. See if Michael Shumway can make his way up and take a stab at the podium spots. Again, he is Mr. Consistent. He's always there at the end, no matter what happens. Great battle here between Ollie, Carter, and Lincoln as well. Lincoln's having an up and down race, but he's got a lot of pace. He's going to swing wide coming around the sweeper. Might try to get a good run exiting the sweeper. Oh, Ollie's off. Ollie goes off course, and that is going to allow Carter to run through. Is it going to allow Lincoln to pass through as well? Yes, it is. So Lincoln and Carter are getting, they're well up into the top 10. And Ollie is in the back. They've been battling it out for the whole race. This is awesome to see. And just in front of them is Kelly. He's kind of in no man's land a little bit right now. But if... Ooh, are they going to be able to catch him? If Carter and Lincoln cannot fight for the next series of corners, they might be able to catch up to Kelly. But not fighting is not in the vocabulary of Lincoln Larson. If there is a gap, he is going to take it. If there is, as we saw right there, that was a very brave move. Very respectful as well. You know, there's not a lot of room there, but there was enough, and they both made it through. And that's exactly what you want to see in any type of racing. And what you see in the Riot Motorsport Sim Racing League. As we are following Logan right now. Logan is trying to put in work on Jake. This is McLaren on McLaren fighting. Further down the order, Spencer in the Taco Bell livery. I actually don't know if Spencer... I would love to know the story behind why the Taco Bell livery. I don't know if he's just a fan. You know, they do make great, inventive food. So, you know, fan of Taco Bell, it's great stuff. I don't know that I would put them on my car. But the livery looks awesome. Who's that off track? Oh, that's Michael Shumway. Oh, my God. What is he doing right now? Michael's taking the scenic route. He's testing the suspension of his Porsche 992. Oh, man. Something definitely happened there. And now Michael's dropping all the way down to the order into P18. What happened here? Oh, he just hooked it. Yeah. Oh, no. Yeah, he just hooks it, which is easy to do coming out of the corner. It's a 150-mile-an-hour corner. And it looks like it didn't register as going across the start-finish line. Oh, no. Oh, so that puts Michael a lap down. Oh, that's such a bummer. Oh, because he was off in the dirt. Wow, look at this battle right here. This is a battle for 11th place in Yannick. Oh, good four-way battle. Oh, driver off. Is that Austin Kent? Another driver off track. Oh, there's a lot of stuff happening right now, but it's actually been a lot more civil than I expect. There's 5 minutes and 30 seconds left in this race. And who's that right there? That is William, Alex, and John Feeney having a great battle further down in the field. That's an R3 battle. This is what I was talking about before. Even though they might be further down in the running order, they could be, you know, going for a top 10, going for a podium in their race class. And that's exactly what we want to see. We want to see well-matched drivers battling one another. And that's what is happening right now all the way up and down the field. Lincoln Larson has caught up to Miller. No, is he up to... No, he's trying to... Oh, he's picking off right there, Bradley, in the FAF racing, the old school FAF racing plaid livery. Oop, and he's going to run wide there. He's going to get out of the way. Is he pulling into the pits? Yep, he's pulling into the pits. And who else is in the pits right now? Brad and George are in the pits? Okay. Is that his second? That's got to be a second stop for them unless they went long. Ooh, all right. Carter being aggressive there. There's a little bit of hip and shoulder on Kelly Hatcher. Let's go back and see what happens. So, Kelly could have left him a little bit more room. Yeah. Man, again, another 50-50. I don't think that's an overly aggressive thing. Kelly could have left room on the outside. Carter, was entitled to the corner. He was on the inside. So, more good racing from the Riot Motorsport Sim Racing League. Bruno, speaking of good racing, is just taking the fast lap back from John Wilson in P2. Bruno just put in a 1:12.471, taking away the fast lap by just under a tenth of a second from the man in P2, John Wilson. So here's what's interesting as well right now. We know that Bruno's a really fast driver. We know John Wilson's a really fast driver. But because John is new to Riot Motorsports, second season, Bruno doesn't do a lot of racing in the league. We have an R3 driver, finger quoting right now, the lowest category of driver, winning the race and is getting stalked by an R2 driver. So early season, you're going to have this happen. You're going to have people that are functionally miscategorized in their classes. If Bruno shows up to more races, puts in the results that he's putting in now, he's going to advance very quickly to R1. And then, by the end of the season, we'll start to see, the pace match up a little bit more with the class. But right now, this is so exciting to see because you don't know. We have new people in the field. We don't know if they're studs or not. That's what happened to John last year. John joined the Riot Sim Racing League partway through the season, and you don't know how quick they're going to be until they're out there. And John absolutely smoked through, I can't remember what, it might have been Long Beach. He absolutely, his first race was so impressive. And, we're going to see that from some of these new drivers as well. Andrew Malin right now is a little bit of a sandwich between Spencer and who's in front of him? Logan. So Andrew, Andrew is actually a very clean driver. Andrew typically stays out of trouble. He and Michael have a lot of good battles in the past. Andrew has gotten unlucky this race. He's had a lot of incidents, not only in sprint race, but in this one. And, if you were going to just go on pace, if I were a betting man, I would not have put Andrew Malin in P18. That's for sure. So, not a great start of the season for him, but it's a long season, and he's got a lot of time to come back. What happened here? It looks like there was an incident on track going into turn 1 into the left-hander into Castrol, side by side, and let's see. Oh, all right, that was a good pass. I love it. That was awesome. I was thinking there might have been an incident, but in the closing stages of the race, 1 minute and 55 seconds left to go. That is Michael Shumway and Mike Cowley. No, it's not Mike Cowley. That is Mike Cowley. Okay, Michael Shumway and Mike Cowley having a great battle further down in the field. Oh, no, actually, that's not even a battle for position. Michael Shumway was put a lap down because he went off track and it didn't pick him up. So that's an unfortunate end to Michael's race because, again, he's someone who can stand on the podium in any of these races. And he's not going to have a good start to the season. 1 minute and 22 seconds left. That means we are going to have either 1 or 2 more laps of racing. Bruno Carniero is enjoying a 1 second lead over John Wilson. And right now we're watching Spencer and Logan battle it out. They're trying to make their way into the top 10, but Waleed is currently occupying that last spot there. So they have a little bit of work to do. Carter's had himself a good race. Some ups and downs, but overall, he finds himself in P5, which is a good result, good way to start the season. Miller also has had a really good race. He might find his way on the podium. It's 4 seconds. He's got 4 seconds to Lincoln. That's probably a little bit far in the closing stages of this race, but a P4 result for him is absolutely phenomenal. Anyone in the top 10 is going to be very, very happy with their results. And actually, as I'm thinking now, Miller is going to be on the podium because he is the third R2 driver. And Carter is going to win the R1 class race from P5 if it stays as it is now. And Waleed is going to be on the podium as well in R3 if it finishes how it is. So I love this multi-class racing. This is awesome. Awesome stuff. I would imagine we're probably going to have 1 lap to go the next time around. This is a timed race. There's Bruno Carniero just received the white flag, so he is on the final lap of the race with John Wilson, desperately trying to close an 8/10 of a second lap. Oh, never mind. Checkered flag. Okay. And again, the rust is coming off for me as I try to talk you through race 1 of the 8th season of the Riot Motorsports Sim Racing League. This was such a pleasure. Ooh, big incident after the race. I saw Spencer shooting off somewhere into outer space. This was such a good race. Good, hard-fought battles, but very respectful. I didn't see anything that... Oh, my God! What just happened there? Okay. So, driver doing a kickflip with his car. That's extra points for that. Hopefully someone sends him a skate deck for the style points on that. All right, so the results are Bruno Carniero winning the race outright and winning the R3 class. John Wilson, P2, but P1 in the R2 class, followed by Lincoln Larson and Miller, who are rounding out the R2 podium. R3 winning, obviously Bruno won. Ollie won the second position, and Jake, new driver, starting off on the podium. Great result for him. And down in P7, the winner of the R1 class was Carter. An amazing result for him. P2 was Jack Liston, and P3 in the R1 class was Shane Wilcox. So an amazing start to the season. Cannot wait for Laguna Seca, which is happening next week. It's going to be awesome. Laguna Seca is not only one of the most iconic tracks in the United States, but a track that everyone in iRacing knows really well. So we're going to see a lot of close racing at that racetrack. Please tune in next week for race number 2 of Season 8 of the Riot Motorsport Sim Racing League. Thank you all very much. We will see you next week.
Welcome to Riot Motorsport Sim Racing League. We are located at the Utah Motorsport campus, offering a full range of services for race car enthusiasts, including storage, maintenance, and driver coaching. Our focus is on fostering an inclusive and supportive racing community. Sim racing is a great way for our drivers to continue to practice during the on and off season. Thank you for tuning in. Enjoy the race.